top 2. I mean, it could go either way.
And well, we won't get to see Frosty for a third time in Stage 2.
ORKS must have just watched that last series and gone, oh my god, no way!
Yeah, not a chance. And I think they definitely watched that last series because they have also decided to go with Pool as a first pick.
Yeah, I think ORKS came into this one a little bit prepared, obviously. ASCENT really not having a good time of it last time around, and ORKS, although the fact that they have lost 3 games, they have looked very good. I mean, every team, for the most part, has looked incredibly good this split. It's just that, you know, everyone has looked so good that everybody has looked kind of bad, you know? If you get what I mean? There has been that kind of fervency of competition that has made... it's kind of drawn a lot of attention to mistakes that teams have made rather than drawing attention to, like, incredible times that we see.
And it is true. It's when an entire league kind of improves, it becomes difficult to tell if everyone is improving because everyone is still matching each other on pace. I will say, obviously, today so far has not been that representative of that general increase in skill across the league here for Stage 2, and we are hoping to see ASCENT go out on a high note. Zerar and Arthanir, they joined 2 players who have RPG backgrounds, 2 players who looked good on these identities, made them look easy, made us excited to see the comebacks at the end of a lot of rounds, and now they sit in danger of being relegated after only a single stage in the Challenger League. A little bit unfortunate. We had another team go 0-7 in Stage 1, Easy Dream. Did they go 0-7 or did they pick up a match win? I'm crazy, but either way they came last. They
got to win. They got to win. It was early on.
They got to win. Yeah, did Exalti go 0-7? That's...
No, nobody went 0-7
Nobody went 0-7, yeah. That's true. But Exalti and Easy Dream, I think, both had their struggles, obviously, and Easy Dream did go 1-6 and looked rough in the back half of Stage 1 for sure. I don't think ASCENT have ever looked as rough as that, honestly, and it's genuinely unfortunate almost that they are now on the brink of going 0-7. It does not speak to how strong this team looked when they entered the Challenger League.
Yeah, definitely. The first few weeks were really good performances from ASCENT. They just didn't quite get over the line. Today has not looked very similar to that whatsoever, and I think really what capitulates that right now is the fact that ORKS NUMELOPS have not picked their best map first. This is kind of a middling team on this map, honestly. They've got a good win rate on it, but apart from that, their times are not insane. Well, I mean, apart from Panda's TMCL record, but their average times are not insane. It's just the fact that ASCENT are worse. Oh, that was close. That was real close, my lord. 6,000th. That was absolutely insane there. Panda can't quite get over the line quicker than Arthanir. And hey, well, we were kind of saying that, well, maybe ASCENT have warmed up into this one. That's a very good time.
Yeah, it may still be too little too late for their stage, but at least they could go out with a bang. That was a strong time. That's better than they looked on Pool against BS Plus competition, and Complex with an early mistake, with an early clip, is going to give room for ASCENT to potentially find themselves in the lead, in the driver's seat to start this match off. Yeah,
it's always going to be really scary coming up against the player that is not just, like, let's keep in mind, we brought out this stat in last week's, well, not last week's broadcast, but last Playday's broadcast as well, that Panda not only has the TMCL record, but has the top 3 times on this map in TMCL. When you're coming up against a player like that, getting points is one thing. Making sure you actually win a single round is a complete other thing. Panda is 5/10 ahead already. We haven't even entered the identity.
Yeah, this is another incredibly quick round from Panda this time, and that may have been Arthanir sliding out as well, but we'll see where Panda does wind up finishing out. Arthanir is fine for the moment. Panda's on a tear. Panda will finish with a 105.5, a very, very strong time, and when one player is consistently putting in these times, is consistently locking up first place, all it takes is Complex getting off the bottom of the leaderboard once, and they find the lead, and it means there's literally no way for ASCENT to find a lead of their own.
Yeah, and there's really no reason for Panda to push for anything whatsoever. I mean, you saw he was, what, 7/10 ahead by that final turn and just took a really conservative line, went, you know what, they are not catching up with me.
I don't need another Challenger League record. It'd be nice to get the world record, but it's not
definitely not getting one this round.
will not be getting one this round. Complex is in the lead though, and so Panda's mistake may yet prove to be a-okay for the squad, as they will look to tie up another draw. Arthnir's dropped down by 8/10, but it's sorry, Zera's dropped down by 8/10. Arthnir's only behind by 1/10, and will look to make the overtake happen on Complex, but this is heading pretty rapidly for another draw.
Yeah, Complex currently the third player in terms of times. I think currently has the 5th record overall, or possibly even the 6th. I think Glass currently has the 2 times the 2 times just slower than Panda on this one, but still a very competent player on this map, and has one of the best times here. But Arthnir putting together a really good time so far. Can Complex get the overtake done? No, it's not going to happen. A 105.7, quite solid. Complex can't quite get over that overtake, but there it is. I mean, one mistake from Panda and suddenly ORKS keeping NUMELOPS are at a loss.
With a very small release on that final right-hand hairpin from Arthnir, I thought that he was going to get caught. I thought that Complex had caught enough, but it looked like Complex had to do a little release of his own. Also ended up with about the same speed to the line, and that allowed Arthnir to hold on, pick up that first round win. It did take a mistake from Panda, but Complex being in 4th place in both of those first 2 rounds has now cost the team a little bit, as they arguably should have had the lead, and the round where Complex got it together, Panda was back. Of course, what's scary now is if Complex does have it together for the upcoming rounds and Panda manages to avoid any more mistakes, they're going to find themselves regaining a lead here on pool pretty quickly, especially with Arthnir down a full 6 seconds.
Yeah, now that we've played a few rounds on this one, Complex and Panda looking really, really tight on this. Zera trying his best to keep up at this point, but Complex and Panda holding hands now going through towards the identity, and Zera struggling to keep that pace, struggling to stay within a couple attempts now of the 2 ORKS keeping NUMELOPS players. But as we go into the identity, going to be real important, doesn't quite straighten up the wheels there, loses out on a bit of time. Panda though as well crashes into a wall there, that's going to slow him down completely, maybe even get overtaken by Arthnir here. A Complex stays well out ahead of Zera, but that may not be enough to get them that round win. I think it's absolutely fine. Arthnir has made even more mistakes, fallen down even further there. ORKS keeping NUMELOPS managed to even things up.
With the pressure on, Panda makes the second mistake. We've only had 4 rounds, and sure, Panda is driving great times, but that's 50% of the rounds that he's made a big mistake in and has dropped back. Potentially cost him the 8th that time around, but on the bright side, Complex has absolutely stepped up in the last 2 rounds, taking those first places. And ORKS keeping NUMELOPS, they've only lost first place in a single round so far.
Yeah, well, now, that's a big mistake coming out from Zera already as well, though, and ORKS keeping NUMELOPS, I think, after that last round, yes, it was a mistake from Panda there, but looking very clean up towards the identity, at the very least. Never mind. Complex having... Oh, my, okay. What has been put in... Like, what have these players been eating this morning? Is like the water system...
It's not their Weetabix, I'll tell you that much, alright?
I don't know. Something's been put in the like the water system.
The pool has been over-chlorinated.
Yeah, the pool, yeah. Yeah. Players getting chemical burns going in.
It's still going to be close. Complex is overtaking Arthnir for first place at the moment, and there's a separate battle going on between Zera and Panda, but this is the one that maybe matters the most. Complex holding off Arthnir, will have speed. Arthnir gaining. Arthnir can't catch 13,000 as Zera will beat Panda to the line. Another draw. The teams stay locked up on ASCENT, driving so much better in this match, Twiggy. It's honestly heartbreaking. If they had this kind of competition against BS Plus competition, maybe they'd still be in stage 2.
That is really, really sad to think about, yeah. And, I mean, all they needed was, you know, like 2 very good series, and they had a very good chance, or, well, a somewhat decent chance of getting on through, especially having, you know, got a good one against ORKS keeping NUMELOPS. Now it's not possible. That's the problem for them at this point, and, yeah, ORKS keeping NUMELOPS, I think, obviously know that ASCENT can't get on through, and that's maybe why they're not pushing as much as we saw them last week. But at the same time, it's they still need this kind of thing. They are one of the lower down teams. They can still get relegated. Be one of the 2 teams at the bottom there. Could join ASCENT if they're not careful. And, you know, obviously winning this series in convincing fashion completely staves off that kind of pressure. But at the same time, you know, you still got 2 games going. You still need to keep up the same kind of stuff that you had going on, because there are 4 teams ahead of you that have a better win rate than you.
It's going to be very hard for ORKS GP NUMELOPS to make the playoffs in anything other than 6th position. But they could do it.
Yeah.
A 4-0 over ASCENT here definitely would be a large first step on that path. And so far, with 9-6 the scoreline, they are on that track for the moment. Any points picked up here for ORKS GP NUMELOPS tie things up and send us to map 2 of this one. Will send us to Grip. Where ASCENT, they're happy to keep picking it, but they looked shaky against BS Plus competition.
Yeah, and now I think it's looking a little bit over. Obviously, having lost that series 4-0, and now on the brink of losing the first map on this one. Even though it is ORKS GP NUMELOPS' map pick, obviously, it's just got to, you know, like, the nails in the coffin have already been put in, right? And it's just got to start to feel a little...
The hammer is fully raised as well.
Like, yeah, exactly. It's a flimsy coffin. The hammer is going straight through the coffin at this point, and you know... Damage is being done. The cops are being called at 3 a.m. in the morning because somebody's brought a spade into the...
Why?
Like,
who's burying people at 3 a.m. to
I was not making a reference to actually... I was saying the opposite was going on there, but either way.
What coffins are for?
No, I was... Grave robbing.
Oh!
Panda now has the top 4 times in the Trackmania.
It's an incredible time from Panda. 105.277 Twiggy. You are absolutely right. He's incredibly quick. And ORKS GP NUMELOPS, all they needed to do was pick up a single point. They picked up 2, double the trouble. And they'll manage to move one step closer to that 4-0 and locking in their spot in playoffs.
I don't believe it. I don't believe you're that dense. I cannot believe. Like,
you don't have a coffin
believe...
back closed when.
Well, yeah, but I said a spade. I said I okay.
You also okay, sure, but then why were the nails in the coffin, Twiggy?
Well, you kind of need them in the first place. That's usually helpful. But either way, let's move on. Let's not dwell on. Stop bringing politics into. Anybody who's watching this VOD on YouTube and didn't watch the last one is gonna have no idea why I said that. Yeah, just
very few things we say have context. It had no context to begin with.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think that sentence needs context. I think it's become one of those sentences that is just, you know, it's just overarching. It's just funny either way. It doesn't matter why you say it.
It's true. Hey, ASCENT made it through the first jump, and they're the team that doesn't lose a member through that inside wall. It is Complex completely out of it now, for a little while at least, but ASCENT will have to make it through the water before we can get confident just yet. Water has been their enemy so far today, and no, they're cleanly through. They're not cleanly through. Arthur has clipped the inside wall. Water remains the enemy. They are not Hydro homies. And Zera will hit a pole as well on the way through. Fully into the outside. Panda nearly falls off the edge, but has kept the car on the road. Complex is still a long way back. Panda will finish with a 1:02.42, 3.8 off the Challenger League record there. And we will get a draw to kick things off.
Yeah, I thought maybe after having played this map several times. Hey, it's fine. Stayed on. After having played the map like several times and having those kinds of mistakes come on through, I thought maybe this would be different, but apparently not. This is their map pick. This is their first map pick.
This was the map that they have looked probably strongest on all season long, honestly. And unfortunately for them here in this final week, it is no friend of theirs, as they got fairly roundly beaten last time out by BS Plus competition. And that time around, things could have been worse. They may be worse on round 2. Zera will not quite make that quarter pipe jump cleanly, and Arthur has dropped back behind. It would be disastrous if he struck a pole here. Will not do so. Will manage to maintain the speed. I was inviting the caster there. Will hit that ball.
I don't know,
He's on the outside.
I don't know,
honestly, Twiggy, that dirt entry, I think Arthur is the player that we have seen miss it most consistently, even when they were winning it.
Yeah. He goes very far to the left on the speed check.
Yeah, and it kind of, that little wobble onto the dirt has cost them a Panda.
Had to cool down a little bit.
Full sniffer on that one. It would be not fair if they went that far in front.
Found the one other bit of water in the map.
Managed to slide out on it. Arthur will clip a pole at the end. Panda's too far back for it to make a difference. How about a draw for a second?
1.648 is a really good time.
That's less than half a tenth off, and it was completely unnecessary as well.
I'm so sorry, I'm getting called in the middle.
Okay, good luck, Twiggy.
No, I just forgot to turn off my notification.
Okay.
It's just been that kind of day.
It really has. An incredible time. 101.648 is 2 seconds ahead of anyone else in the lobby.
Yeah, it was
on
the
that
mud. The
final
mud
round.
was
Just
cooling. Thank you, Greedy, for that joke. That's good.
Didn't need to go that far.
Yeah.
And Zerar and Arthaneer, they need to up the pace, but more importantly, they really do need to up the consistency here. It still draws. They are still tied at 2-2, but once again, just like on pool, they are giving up for first place more often than not, and that is limiting their ability to get points away from their opponents.
Yeah, well, at least this round has had a much more clean beginning this time around, and maybe, hopefully...
We're heading towards the pool, Twiggy.
Yeah,
Why would you say that?
No, it's fine. No, it's
Oh,
okay.
Banda's crashed.
Only one. And honestly, after the events of today, that's pretty decent. I'll take it. That's damage limitation at this point. And well, the final remaining 3 players are keeping it clean so far. Complex out ahead of Arthur here, but no, it's not to be for so long. And an attempt to overtake for... Oh, no way. Panda gets the overtake on Arthur here as well. ORKS, GP, NUMELOPS move out ahead.
Yeah, that's...
Wow. By the way, I turned off my notifications. This person has called me 4 times in the past minute. It actually is the mud. The mud is calling. Like, I'm just looking down at my phone. This is... Take the hint.
Especially for Arthaneer on that last round, that was a little bit mudded into the final possible pole to hit on the way through that final turn, giving up the round win to ORKS GP NUMELOPS, who now lead on map 2 of the final match of the season for ASCENT. They really need to start picking some up, and they need to start doing it soon. They're sitting once again in 2nd and 3rd. Zerar will not have the speed for the speed check, as that early clip does cost, and that'll mean Complex re-overtaking for 3rd place. Panda holding off Arthaneer, staving him off for the moment. Into the pool we go, and Arthaneer will bounce on the way in, getting a little... One wheel off the bottom is enough to lift him all the way off the bottom. Complex will slide out once again here. Not clean. Water has cost these players everything. But Complex is still going to pick up a round win, you'd have to imagine, from this point on. And it looks very likely to be an ace all around. Complex has not finished yet. Where's Complex? Oh, Complex is here. We're watching Complex. I thought we were on board with Panda. That's my bad. You know what? Sometimes I just lose my literacy for a brief second there. I mean, Zerar takes 2nd place.
After... Like, I mean, look at that round. I think you're forgiven for getting lost in that one. A 105.5, a blistering time, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, grip continues to be grip, and week 6 continues to be week 6.
I'm losing my grip on reality. Arthaneer stayed in the pool a little while longer, trying to wash the mud of the round before off a little bit. Didn't work. Going to remain a little bit muddy here. It's been a little bit dirty, not so clean from any of our players, but it's ORKS GP NUMELOPS who are managing to just keep things a little bit tidier, managing to keep things on track a little bit more often, honestly. And they're doing it again in this round. They have had the pace as well, and ASCENT, I think, throughout the season, part of what was making their matches so close was their ability to fight back in identities. Complex will crash out fully. Their pace throughout the rest of the map has never been the strong point for this team, and now as the identities are not looking as ready for them in this final week, other teams may be catching up to them. That lack of pace on the rest of the map is definitely coming back to haunt them. Panda will crash though, and as I talk about it, Arthaneer will be the player to keep clean through an identity. Zerar does as well. 101.7 is a great time. Panda may have been on for a new Challenger League record there. Yeah. But they're not, and an ace for ASCENT will mean that they are the team to move to map point. Yeah, and I don't believe that. That's wild. At this point, now... I mean, ASCENT could take it. That's hilarious to me. But either way, I mean, both teams have just made so many mistakes that's why that's possible. This has not been clean either way. And I thought maybe we had kind of ended that with ORKS GP NUMELOPS coming on through. No, not whatsoever. Every team just seems a different breed today, and not in a good way. Yeah, they're looking towards the playoffs, right? Why tip your hand when your positions are nearly locked in? They are locked in for a couple of our teams now already. That's the excuse I'm going to go with, but I don't really know why Zerar has caught that wall. Comes down to ASCENT's line. They are the team that goes furthest to the left on that dirt entry, and it has cost them a couple of times here already this evening. As Arthaneer is going to hope for a mistake from Complex, move this team a little bit closer towards the points that they need. Arthaneer is nearly going to slide out, caught it at the last possible second, but drops further away from Complex. And you have to note that Zerar is getting closer to his teammate, but Panda is too far back to make an impact. It's again a really good time. Complex with a 101.8. things have picked up here, heading towards our final rounds on Grip. Both teams can now finish it on this next round.
Yeah, this is, I mean, I don't know what to say. Yeah, it's, look, hopefully we see this clean up towards the end of the series. Today has been Trackmania, in every possible way so far, and ORKS NuMeLOPS, you know, looked good on pool, but even then, uncharacteristically inconsistent. And here on Ascent's map pick, I like Ascent. It's hard to know that it's a map pick, looking completely based off of the performances.
Yeah. Yep. Arthur holds on there. We've seen that clip before, clipping off the inside, but the reactor holding him through, maintaining speed, has still dropped a little ways back. Zerar has caught back up, and it's still very, very close between all four players. 2/10 the most that separates them. I get worried when I see Panda's car flicker, but he's okay, hasn't disconnected yet,
good round,
and will hold on to the lead. Great round so far up until Arthur crashes Zerar. It's still close enough to maybe make something happen. Complex and Panda holding on hand in hand around this final turn. May get sniped. Will Complex? No! It's a 101 point. A great round up at the top, but good enough for ORKS GP NuMeLOPS to complete the comeback, and from nowhere really, they have sprung this map win on Ascent.
Yeah, I mean, wild. Ascent still not managing to get a map out of today whatsoever, and ORKS just, I don't know. I'm not going to say putting them to bed, because they're getting into bed with them, it looks like.
It's Joverman just yet?
It's Joverman. No, I'm not saying that just yet. I mean, look, neither team look like they are fully in control right now.
No, they
no, they're fully in off-road,
not
control, but
yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. No, fair enough. We deserve that one. They barely look in control of their cars at times, unfortunately, Twiggy, but they did clean it up towards the end there. As much as we have kind of been joking about how the players are not looking as comfortable today as maybe they haven't played in previous weeks, that was a stronger end to Grip than we have seen from either of these teams so far today. Ascent, in particular, got cleaner just there, and we're now going to see how either team performs on off-road, see who can pull one through. If it's ORKS GP NuMeLOPS, that's it. I struggle to see Ascent making the reverse sweep happen from that position, just based on the form that we've seen so far tonight. But if Ascent can start to pick things up, there were signs of life at the end of Grip there.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, if either team becomes consistent suddenly, I mean, they do win. It should be that easy, really, based on what we've seen in every round so far. There has been a mistake in every round. Panda there slipping out on the ice. Zerar takes an interesting line, but still it's okay. Stays well behind Panda, but at the very least gets the overtake done on one. Crashes into a tree, falls back. Arthur is there to overtake. Complex is going to be right behind. No, not even remotely, apparently, but either way, yeah, Panda should be taking this one, but Arthur and Zerar are going to make it 1 point apiece.
Yep, and Zerar will get through the line. I was a little bit nervous for Zerar heading through the trees there. He took a line starting very far to the right, and I wasn't sure if he was going to hit every checkpoint. As Complex, it just demonstrates how easy it is to miss a single one on the way through the trees there. It's the same story, though, isn't it, Twiggy? Where Ascent start the map off a little bit more consistent. One of the players from ORKS GP NuMeLOPS is falling behind, but Ascent just cannot find their way into the pace to pick up the round wins and a lead as a result. And after a while, in both of our previous maps, both players from ORKS GP NuMeLOPS find themselves on the pace, mistake-free, and that's when they start to pick up their leads. And ultimately, on Grip, they managed to pull the lead from behind once it happened.
Yeah. No idea what has happened to Arthur near, fallen back by a second already. And usually ORKS GP NuMeLOPS more consistently get the line through the inside there. Zerar goes for it as well, so stays with the two ORKS GP NuMeLOPS players. This time around, no slide out from Panda. Both Complex and Panda are going to move towards the identity in first and second position. Zerar again gets a slower exit from the ice there, and will be falling back a little further. Now it just needs to stay clean from ORKS GP NuMeLOPS through to the very end. They get that ace. They pull out well ahead. A 4-1 scoreline would be absolutely brilliant. Again, on their own map pick, but at the same time, that would put you 3 up in the series. Moving on for a very nice, a 59.6, a solid time. Followed by a 59.8 from Complex there, and Zerar and Arthur near nowhere to be seen, basically.
No, not going to be close. I always get nervous when I see someone hit one of those final trees. Arthur is going to go for a drive into a corner of shame. It's been a while since we've seen one of them. But when someone hits one of those final trees just before the line, I always expect a full dramatic spin out. Expect someone to go flying. And then, you know, I realize and remember that they have the reactor on, and the down reactor keeps them at least close enough and not losing enough speed, usually to get overtaken at the line. It means that there is less of a time loss to be had right at that final line to be had, which means that you can full send it a lot more confidently than maybe you could otherwise.
Yeah. Here's I think good tip now for just update the map actually. Just go into off-road and just add stuff to it. Put a reset block on every one of the tree. Oh, that's an interesting crash. I don't think we've ever seen that one before. Add that to the list.
No.
Add a reset block to every tree so they just fly up dramatically every time they touch it. Absolutely hilarious. It would be so funny.
That is truly evil. Have
Yeah.
you been maybe watching another mapper at work? Someone who has different philosophies when it comes to what makes a competition map?
I don't know. No comment.
Well, Panda is going to win another round. The same thing is going to keep happening as Zero slides out, where ORKS, GP, NUMELOPS have first place on lock. Zero is very slow, and Complex has picked up third. ORKS, GP, NUMELOPS extend their lead up to a 6-2. They are on pace. They are on track for the third 4-0 of this evening. Twiggy, we are flying through the day's matches.
Yeah. And usually when we say that, it's teams doing well that I mean, alternate attacks did well, but
I would argue that ORKS, GP, NuMeLops, despite the
yes, okay,
despite
they're not doing badly.
they are still doing well.
Yeah, no, they're not doing badly.
Getting consistently a player in first place with a good time, right? And sure, the second player may be making a lot of mistakes, but that's fine. If you're consistently getting a player into first with a time that's a couple of tenths away from the Challenger League record, we saw from Sprout last season, that was good enough.
True.
That strategy was good enough for second in Challenger League, and ORKS, GP, NuMeLops are pulling it off here in this match.
Yeah, so far it is, like that's the thing, right? It's good enough, and that's all that really matters at this point. And we haven't seen anything, you know, really amazing. No clean rounds from everyone involved whatsoever. But either way, ORKS, GP, and NuMeLops are doing what they need to do, and that's the goal at the end of the day. Can Complex get that overtake on Arthur Near, get themselves to 9 points? It would just make things real nice. Overcooks it a little bit, slams into the tree. 59.482, close to the TMCL record there from Panda, but not quite. They do get themselves to 8 points at the very least.
I mean, that's it exactly, right? ORKS have threatened a couple of times so far to break Challenger League records in this match, so while it has felt a little bit Fiesta-like, it has felt a little bit like an end-of-season party, celebrating us having to say goodbye to ASCENT and our time with them. ORKS, GP, NuMeLops are still putting together some really, really solid runs, almost more than solid, exceptional runs at times as well. I wouldn't be shocked if we do see Panda or Complex break a Challenger League record between now and the end of the match. And just doing that consistently, one of their players being on the pace, has denied ASCENT any real way into this match, and it is going to be potentially a fairly ignoble end to the season for them, getting swept out of back-to-back matches on their final day. Complex is willing to give them a little bit of a chance, though. Panda, less so.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Panda is now looking just for TMCL records at this point, and fair play. Like, this is really quick pace all the way through so far, really trying to get that one done. Take it away from Dexter. I think Panda may have had it before as well. 59.557, still very close. Not quite getting there. That just goes to show how insane the TMGL records are, that, you know, we're consistently finding it difficult to get the TMCL record, which is 0.3 slower.
And it is one of those things that has kind of come up in conversation. You know, we talked at the top of the day about the possibility that we'll see some of the Challenger League players move up to Grand League next season, with especially Elcon stepping down, but maybe even just some other teams looking for it. There's a pretty big step up in pace, even for players who are as consistent as Scandir and Wosile have been throughout it. Trying to drive consistently while setting times that are 3 to 4 tenths faster is going to be a big switch up for any of our players. So next season, if we see any of those players make the jump up, it's going to be very interesting to compare and contrast. But for the moment, let's see if ORKS, GP, and NuMeLops can edge that TMCL record a little bit closer to the live world record. Both of them are on the pace at the moment, both of them looking quick. Panda a little bit ahead. Either way, they should close out this map on this round.
Yeah, it's looking pretty much over now. Panda and Complex just looking for really good times here. Arthur Near putting on the afterburners to try and get the overtake done, but it's going to take a little more than that. It's going to take mistakes from ORKS, GP, NUMELOPS, which do not happen. Really solid times all the way through here from ORKS. And yeah, starting to really warm up into the series. There are... He's just playing now. Let's see.
Oh, he's looking for cuts. He's looking for cuts.
Maybe not happening. Maybe not. Maybe not.
I don't think that one.
Put that one back in the. Put that one back in the reject pile.
Back in the oven for a little while. Let it cook a little bit more.
No, do not let them cook. Do not let them cook. Not today.
ORKS, GP, NUMELOPS are cooking. That was 3 back-to-back rounds within 2 tenths, and 2 of them within a tenth of the Challenger League record from Panda to finish us off on off-road. And we head now into our potential final map of the stage for Ascent, and potentially the final map of this match as well. This would be massive for ORKS, GP, NUMELOPS, who are still embroiled in that race for the playoffs to pick up a big 4-0 swing in their map differential to move to 3-3 match wins on the season. We'll see if they can get it done here on breaking Ascent's second pick of the match. It's going to be a tough comeback for them.
Yeah, it really is now, and I was just about to say, this is another one of those maps. It's got water in it. You really just know it's going to go wrong everywhere that there is water, and immediately Complex shows that one off. We see players getting stuck there a lot, and that's a really devastating one because you pretty much have to restart fully. Okay, even there, like,
yeah,
that's the one bit of water in this map pool that isn't really a problem.
Yeah, the glider keeping you across the surface there. Look, it's the lines. Arthanir has started that drift very early and is going to have to do a lot of braking. There was definitely a potential for a slide out there. Good control for Arthanir to keep that car from ending up in a sign, but he's lost a lot of speed going very deep inside on the dirt turn as well. And so Panda will continue to extend that lead. I'd love to see Panda get a record now tonight. Panda has been so quick, and it'd be great to see him pick one up.
I mean, yeah, obviously Panda, if I remember correctly, already has... did Panda get the world record last time? I can't remember what player it was. I'm pretty sure Panda got the world record on Control last time around. But either way, yeah, doing incredibly well. You can just see that Panda is well practiced on every single map here. For 114.2, not insane, but it didn't really need to be insane. 8 tenths ahead of Arthanir there, and no matter how quick you are on that identity, you're not making up that much time.
Yeah, you were correct, by the way. Panda is currently the world record holder on Control. Less than a tenth ahead of Pac on that one. We'll see how long
I don't know how much
lasts.
more optimization can be done on that one in live rounds.
We'll see how long the record lasts into the Grand League playoffs. Arthanir will slide out into that first wall. Water very much has not been a friend to the players so far this evening. Those wet wheels have led to multiple slide outs. Zerar is going to take a wide line and will dodge the second wall this time around, managing to stay on the pace.
Complex also takes a wide line and does catch up with the better exit speed towards the end, but again, Panda looking really consistent so far. I should not have said that just before the ice section. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. It's absolutely fine. And yeah, so far, I mean, the thing is, I think right now, if Complex catches up with his teammate, which is looking likely after Zerar slams into the wall, things are looking really good for ORKS. It looks just over for Ascent.
You could see there, though, Complex with the very inside line on the dirt. That's the exact line that we saw from Arthanir, I believe, last round as well. And how slow it was. Zerar just slammed into the wall by going the full outside line and still came out with the same amount of speed, right? It's a clear difference on what the good line is through that section. But with that said, we do have our position set here in the identity. Zerar is very close to the outside. Maycap's Panda, that's going to be very close to the end. It's less than a tenth. Wow. It's always deceptive at that end with the players in that cruise control, engine off mode. Not cruise control. Arthur's going to drop a wheel off the end. He's not going to finish without respawning. He's not going to finish at all. It's going to be a round win for ORKS, GP, NUMELOPS. It was close to a draw.
Yeah. We haven't handed out any wicked points today. Does Arthanir get one for doing like that 360 off, like the little dive off the edge? Like that's a really...
Don't you have to finish for your wicked points?
No, you can still get one with a din. If you can't finish,
okay,
then it's
fair,
fine.
fair.
But if you like deny yourself a finish, then that's not. No, I don't think so. That would be. I think that would. Yeah, that would ruin the.
It was just he kind of hung a wheel and then stopped driving. And the
it's
car
just the fact that I don't want to go through a whole Playday without handing out any. That's sad.
I understand. Yeah, it would be.
But I can't dilute the meaning of it. So
that's so true. So true. It would be meaningless then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
As opposed to now.
As opposed to now when there is no prize, there is nothing. It is just points.
Zerar making up
Number
for
one.
mistakes on the previous round.
Nice, good
and
call
yet
out.
still
Well done.
taking the same
I mean, yeah, Zerar's
line.
entry into the dirt is really quick.
Yeah, but unfortunately both times has kind of been very high on the previous bowl, and so it's been coming down with a lot of sideways momentum, which has just carried him straight into that outside wall on it as well. Still within striking distance, could catch up with both Panda and Complex on this one. Remember, carrying speed around the final turn of this identity matters so much. Zerar is carrying more speed right now than any of the other players.
No.
He's carrying too much. He's carrying far too much. Like a man carrying too many shopping bags up the alley. He is going to find his limit and head past it. Zerar gone from the round, gives an ace to ORKS GP NUMELOPS, and there's groceries everywhere, Twiggy.
Yeah, you know what? Apt story, right? Very recently, there is a British store that has terrible bags. I don't know if this is a thing that is like actually like I don't know if when I say that. Like, you know exactly which one I mean, because there is one that has horrible bags.
British. Excuse me.
What?
I'm not British. Just,
well, you still have this store. You have this store. I'm pretty sure in Ireland. But either way, and like the handles always fall off. They're the horrible like plastic. And happened to me as I was leaving the store one time. I may have overfilled the bag a little bit. I'll be honest. I didn't bring two, so I tried to overfill it a little too much, and it went very wrong. And very embarrassing when that happens.
It's true. Like, look, chat trying to call that story out for being weirdly specific is if we haven't all been in the situation of
everybody, every adult has done that.
Or trying to carry too many. Everyone's done it, all right? If you haven't, you need to help your mother with the chores.
Yeah, actually, yeah, even kids have done it a lot, yeah.
Complex and Panda are holding on to the lead. We're heading for another ace, a potential 9-2 scoreline. Zerar is cooking on the inside of that turn, though. He may catch, but it's going to take a lot of work. Is pushing to the outside. Complex and Panda have pushed enough, though. There's going to be no way to catch back up. Holding off Zerar by almost half a second there. And a quick time as well. Complex within 4/10 of the Challenger League record. And that's surely it, Twiggy. 9-2 the scoreline. A single point for ORKS GP NuMELOPS will be enough to wrap this season up. It's Arthur here on what is now almost definitely their final round. A final mistake in the water. And I think he's going to be avoiding the public pool for a couple of months after this.
Yeah. Well, today's frivolities end not with a bang, but with a whimper, I think, is the only way to put this.
Yeah. 4-0, 4-0, 4-0. Big swings in terms of the game differences.
Big swings,
for ORKS GP NuMELOPS. Absolutely no change at all for BS Plus competition, who lose 0-4 and then win 4-0 to remain at the exact same game difference of a total of +6 at the moment. Still a very solid game difference for them as they move to 4 and 3 to round things out. ASCENT, unfortunately, will move to 0-7 unless Panda and Complex have the worst time we have ever seen on these beams at the end of breaking. And it's not looking to be the case. They can play things safe at the moment. Big gap back to Zerar, and a much, much bigger one all the way back to Arthanir. Nice and clean. Never mind. Complex will crash. Zerar will try and snipe at the finish line. Will not manage to do so. Panda picks up the round win. ORKS GP NuMELOPS have finished off this match 4-0.
Yeah. That... I feel like we didn't even start today. This was like
I'm still settling into it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I somehow feel simultaneously tired and like we haven't done anything at all.
Yeah. Luckily, we get to do it all again tomorrow. More matches coming up on Friday and on Saturday as well. But that's it for today in ASCENT. Again, I can't believe they went 0-7. Like, just looking at how this team entered, looking at the times they were putting up, they were playing well, they were contesting. Again, I think their driving in the map outside the identities pre-identity was probably slowest on pace out of any of the 8 teams that we have. But they were very quick through a lot of the identities. They brought 2 matches all the way to a game 7. And ultimately, going down 0-4 in their last 2 matches is disappointing, and the fact that that 0-7 scoreline as well is tough. It just shows how cutthroat Challenger League is. It
really, it is. And this has been a completely different story to what we saw in Stage 1. Stage 1 was, like, not close between all teams, but at the very least, you know, everybody was losing, everybody was winning. There was, you know, some kind of, or some form of competitive nature going on. This, it's literally, there's 6 teams fighting, and then you've got alternate attacks and Ascent. It seems like, in that way, both with flawless in different ways, depending on what team you play for, scorelines. And, yeah, things have been really, really interesting. You know what? I didn't expect to see that out of Ascent after seeing them in week 1 versus Ominosun.
Yeah.
But